Wait.
All right. Okay. No.
Start with your name and where you're at. So
Name is Terrell Danley, aka Chef T, culinary arts instructor for Potomac Job Corps Center here in Washington, D.C. I was first exposed to the KP Compass system at the Iron Chef competition. I guess that was held at Atlantic City Community College maybe 2 years ago. And I remember seeing Mr. Nywang actually demonstrate it on, I think it was like the second to the last day of the competition. And I was like, boy, I would give anything to get that program. I can't, this thing looks just like what I need. Never thinking that we would have the opportunity to actually work together. I'll say maybe 5 or 6 months later, our regional director actually called, named Dr. Cole. He said, T, we've been looking at the numbers. Potomac's culinary arts program is actually succeeding at a higher rate than some of our other ones. And we'd like to, I don't know if you've heard of the KP Compass system, the two-chef system. I said, yeah, I remember seeing it. I'm a fan of it. I want to learn more about it. I'm going online to check it out. Can we afford it? And Dr. Cole goes, well, it's your lucky day because we're going to make you guys the pilot program to see if we can afford and if this is good for all the Job Corps. Well, needless to say, it took a little bit to hook up. And once we finally did, he showed me how to program it. If you have even basic fundamental programming skills, because really it doesn't take much, just to look at what it is that you want your students to accomplish and then to set up the learning program to meet your needs and your objectives is very, very simple. I laugh about it, but he was in California and I was in DC, and we actually did it over a telephone conversation. We were actually able to get the programming done, and then from there, he was able to log on and check my work to see if I had done everything correctly, and actually, make sure we had imported videos and everything, but it was very, very, very simple. The hardest part, once you got it set up, is getting students used to working and learning independently. Without, having to say, hey, look, you don't have a book in front of you and chef browbeating you saying, okay, look, study this, page that, but by saying you will not graduate, you will not progress unless you log on to this. Once they get over that mental inertia and they realize that it's very fun, it's very interactive, they can check their progress. Once they realize that it also shows their ranking amongst their classmates, it becomes, competition. And for us, life is about competition, and that's something we practice and preach here. KP Compass has made my job at least 85% easier. Why? Self-paced learning. The kids come in, they know what their assignments are for the week. They'll come in, they'll do most of their studying over the weekend during the dead time, and they come in on Monday ready. Chef, I'm ready to talk about this. I'm ready to learn this. Did you check my scores? Can you sign my TARs off? Do you see I've passed the section? So, I can't say enough good about it. I think it's something that most non-traditional learning institutions should use, places where students who aren't successful at sitting still and reading and writing and arithmeticing, but folks who need alternative learning styles, I think it's perfect for them. So, kudos kudos KP Compass, we love it.
And you have students coming in at all different levels, right?
All different levels. So it doesn't matter, it individualizes instruction. Doesn't matter whether you've been in trade for a day, a month, a week. It's self-paced, so we love it.
Wonderful. You got some stories from your students that I think you remember telling me?
I'm trying to think which stories have I given you already?
It's always on spur of the moment.
Yeah, it's always spur of the moment. There's been so many. Like I said, the biggest thing is, like I said, we use it as a measure of competition. A lot of times, because our trade is one of the largest trades on campus. But first, so you guys know who we're talking to. But gentlemen, this is Mr. Nywang. Y'all don't know who that is, but he's a developer of the online program that we use in culinary arts. Imagine all that time. He actually owns the company, developed it, and he was in Philadelphia and decided to come down and say hi. We were the pilot program for Job Corps. Potomac, our culinary arts program was the pilot program for it. But probably the most fun story is, I think it was the last time we took a trip to New York. We could only take 10 students. And so how can I decide, especially when I have a lot of students who are ranking kind of high? So we were like, real simple. Here goes the module that we're going to focus on this week. The top 10 students, as they score on KP Compass, get to go. So it was funny at first watching, check chef, check my score, where am I? And then it took them about maybe the second or third time to realize the more I take a test, okay, the higher the higher my ranking actually goes. Even if I've actually passed a module, the more and more I take it, which was great because that means even if they pass the test, learning doesn't set in until they've done and read, that same thing maybe 10 times. So the more they were exposed to that information, they didn't realize that they were learning better. They just knew that it was increasing their score, increasing their chances of going on the trip. Believe it or not, all those kids actually became my seniors, those with the sous chef cap, because they had learned so much. So by the time they competed for the trip, they were actually the brightest students in the class. So once again, kudos KB Compass. We love it.
Wonderful. Cool. Thanks a lot.
Not a problem. Not a problem.